Arthur just straight up has more abilities. Just legitimately can press more buttons than Cullen throughout the early, but I expect both of these guys to move into that Bruiser build. King Arthur likely going to go for the Stone of Gaia, then once he's got that passive regen rolling his way, he's really only going to fall to maybe a jungle gank.
That's the biggest game of the year, and who else better to take us in than Finch in aggro?
Thank you, Dolson and Myth. Biggest game of the year so far. Don't want to get too Homer Simpson on you, though. No Athena picked or banned in this one, aggro. A surprise, perhaps, but I don't think either of these teams are complaining about their draft.
For Panatom, I'm more worried about how effective he's going to be in the face of the inevitable upgraded shells that both Panda Cat and Whirlwind I'm expecting to pick up. I'd be surprised if we didn't see at least 2 here on the side of the Dragons.
But the relic that has me worried in this early game is this blink for Sam. Is he not worried about getting Palad on cooldown by Panatom here? Really no CC immunity for Sam in this early game. So he's going to have to be real careful, or Panatom should likely have a pretty free matchup there up against him.
Agree, that is the concern, but Mike's doing a good job baiting right now. Look at where Sam is on the rotation over towards this purple buff, and he's already gotten the pluck from Rongu. That could be kill potential.
Here it is, the early leap in, but the jumps don't land from Mike, but everyone's here. It might not matter if the Impale connects. First blood of this clash of the Titans goes to the Dragons. And how does it start? With pressure over in duo on the back of Mike. Not here just yet. Doesn't seem like, though, really these teams have been too deterred from picking up the Ankile. A little bit of a price increase, a little less power on it. Physical power, obviously. But they're not done with that as Mike moves into our core. The pillar well placed. Desert Fury there too. And they get the kill and the beads. Perfectly executed from this duo lane. And listen, man, I know there's a lot of talk about that MO Ratford duo lane, the Jeff Barrett duo lane, but I don't know, man. This Mike Panda, kind of no matter who's piloting her so far in the SPL, it's been more of a question of can they really leverage that into super valuable damage. You know, is it just poke that doesn't end up resulting in kills, or are you actually doing relevant damage to set up for winning these team fights? So that's going to be the key question for Hurry. Could he show us on that? Vin had a great performance on it as Mike gets plucked in, but uses the opportunity to get aggressive. Shinto responds with an ult of his own, and the beads come out from Panatom, so he goes up under the Palo, and Mike should be dead to rights here. Nothing for him to do. But what? There's no follow-up. Okay, Panatom got the dot on him, so Mike goes down. Now the pluck ends up landing on the Sam, who's all still low. Leviathans respond with a 3v3 battle and come out on top.
Yeah, that Fear No Evil just does not do enough there for Sam for Soccer Fury right away. I mean, yeah, Sam lost his beats, but you still had overall map control from that position.
Mike in again. Can't be knocked up in the middle of the Brutalize, so he keeps it going as Rongu attacks. And they are back going to the Fury, but all 5 here this time as Fine OK rotates in. Julio is nearby in mid, but Mike moves forward to zone. Fury low, Frenzy popped, and Fear No Evil confirms the Dragons the objective, and Rongu ends up falling. Now it's the Ragnarok onto Julio, who tries to keep this fight going, and his damage is good. He's got Mike locked down, but the team in the back has been zoned out by great presence from Fine, as well as Sam, who makes his way in, and Shinto will fall to his pressure. It's a great fight from the Jade Dragons, and they send the Leviathans running.
And you find OK not done sending Yarkor quite yet. Aegis is still available for Yarkor, but holds on to it, gives Fine OK the respect, and pays the price. 3 for 0, Gold Fury in tow for the Jade Dragons. And I think that was a demonstration of the difference in experience level between the two solo laners. Fine OK gets
it's been mostly the solo laners, mid laner, and a little bit from Mike, who's been playing well too. That was really clean and a critical fight for the Dragons. Look at how this lead has exploded now. About 4,000 gold ahead, a little bit more than that as the Greater Scorpion on right goes down. Jade Dragons are ready to put another big objective on the map, and Julio, the target, he didn't have beads for another 30 seconds. They drop Fear No Evil as well. They want Julio absolutely dead and buried. Frenzy committed. Julio still alive, and now the Leviathans can re-engage after a heavy commitment from the Dragons, and Whirlwind, the target in the back of the fight, onto the Palau goes Panatom, and Shinto puts Whirlwind in a casket. Next target is Mike, but he leaps away over the wall. What a turnaround from the Chaos team when their boy was dead to rights. But Fine doing a great job in the middle of this fight, still keeping it going as Sam comes in to look for more action.
Oh, Panatom immediately met with an impale by Panda Cat. Stay off my boy. I've got his back. That shell right there on top of it. No chance to take down Sam for Soccer. Significant window in between his blink and Heroine's purification beads. Hurry now has to really respect Panatom's ultimate because he has to have time to jump and ult if he's not in that all down forward form anyways.
Wow, wrong you kind of on a clinic right now, but he better not pay for it with his life as Mike comes in, cancels the brutalize, and now Panatom engaging again hardcore. Does get the Fear No Evil right in his face, trades out for the Palau, but in the backline, Fine OK and Mike are looking for the carries of the Leviathans. It's just Fine OK now as Mike's been pushed out, and he looks for Julio instead, who drops the beads in what seems like a losing effort. Sam claims his life, and even though, again, it looks like the Leviathans get off to a good start, they're a bit jumpy. I don't know if I love Panatom all-inning there.
Yeah, thinks that he got the beads out from Panda Cat maybe across the team fight. You can't get this team getting their wires crossed if they're going to do things like that. That was impressive.
They come into this with a 7K gold lead, and the Fire Giant already well down below half. Wrong you here, in comes Yarkor, but what can they do? The Fire Giant in range, and the Dragons secure it, despite all that drama, but there are some low members in Mike at the back of the team fight, but it's still Fine OK engaging, forcing out Yarkor's relics, and winning the DPS race up against an ADC, but in comes Shinto to provide some damage, a little stim pack for his boy, but Fine OK repositions. Now it's Herwin's job to get involved, has to use the Aegis though, so he can retreat, but I think he might be stuck in the wrong part of town. Yarkor gets the kill, but in comes Sam with the Fear No Evil for a double. That turns the fight around on its head, and Yarkor too low. Sam finds a triple kill. The kid is nuts.
But he can't stay up forever. Eventually he goes down to Panatom. It takes a lot though, and Julio is in a lot of trouble. Sunder, Frenzy, see you later. Just Panatom up and standing against 3 members of the Jade Dragons with that Fire Giant buff. Hurry looks like he's hard inting there, that he dives in all by himself, but he bought so much time and did so much damage. That's a way I think you have to be playing TMAT. You've got to be willing to get in there and get your hands dirty. Panda wants to end.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to go for it. You can see
the Leviathans might need to find a bit of a regroup here. Panatom way up alone there in the Bermuda Triangle.
And Mike is looking to maybe solo out Yarkor. He has animosity, so this is a fight that theoretically with Sunder, he might be able to win it.
I think Yarkor agrees. Just going to retreat from this fight. Lands near Hurrywind instead. And my man went from one evil to a much greater evil, it felt there, but he is back with the squad. Fine OK now in the middle, and they are putting out decent damage. At the Rage Transformation, they pluck Fine OK back into the squad. Meanwhile, Panatom winning the duel up against Sam for Soccer. This is such a huge kill if Panatom can find it, but so far proving elusive. And Fine OK winning the battle back up against the Leviathans. Yarkor already put down, and so much of the DPS for the Leviathans already lost, so Fine OK keeps up the aggression. Hurwind able to find Julio, and Shinto just running for his life. If Panatom had a chance to get Sam, that window has closed. He's got to come back to the boys and help out because they're in danger of losing the game. Shinto been removed, and it's 5 of the Dragons with a chance to take this game away from the Leviathans. The Titan down to half, and no one here to defend. 26 minutes and 35 seconds, and the Dragons win game 1.
I don't know what you do against the Jade Dragons because Fine OK looks like he looks like he's hacking, dude. I don't get it.
Ice Storm, Flames from the Merlin, it's not that burst potential that you'd expect from the hard CC core that the Leviathans have, as well as that Sobek, but it does certainly fit that objective-based style.
Leviathans changed their draft and they want to change the outcome. Game number 2 starts right now.
Some nice looks here for the Leviathans and the Dragons. It is the Merlin here in Shinto's hands. Bumba's not entirely the cooldown, but half of that. Shifters coming down a bit as well as on Kile with the power and price. We'll see if that continues to affect these builds, or if they'll find some new way. As Rongyu consumes the blink, but he's got Panatom nearby, and that's enough for first blood. Rongyu gets it, maybe in that spot. Let your jungler get that last hit, but I don't think it matters a whole lot.
To use the beads, number 1, to path the way he did, number 2, and to dash into the wall. Maybe should have been number 1 on that list, I suppose. But a couple of rare mistakes from Panda Cat lead to that kill. And look at this, immediately straight waiting for him out of base. But Panda, he's a streamer, he's used to it.
He's already dashed, though. I think that might just be the end of this one, and it indeed is. Panatom just gonna leave on Suku, excuse me, as in comes Hurwind and in comes Sam for Soccer. They do want blood in exchange for blood.
Might be the Leviathans. They're grouped and ready to go on this right-hand side of the map.
I wonder if they have the information. They're going to use the presence in right to get the greater scorpion, but they have to be careful. The Dragons are here in force. There's the pull. Sam is going to fall. I'm a Monster does seem to connect as Panatom's low, and he has got to find a route to maneuver because the boys are here in force. Stun from FINOK nets him his first kill of the game by cutting down the enemy jungler. It's jungle for jungle, but Panatom got the kill first, then died, and Sam, though, getting to see how the Dragons choose to respond to just about anything. They've been kind of the aggressors all season long, so it is nice to see what their strat is. They kind of sent PandaCat out in an escape pod, though, didn't they? They're not heading back over there. They're kind of letting him handle that long lane for himself, and he has stayed about a level and a half behind as Wrong-Yu and Panatom blink. There's the ult. Herwin pulled in, but Panatom, the one low, the one hit by a monster, but they do get Herwin in the end. Jungle traded for mid, but now Wrong-Yu stuck alone. Ultimate committed here from Sam as he keeps up the aggression. Tail Whip buys a moment, but Wrong-Yu just left. No one can come to help, and he'll fall. Good damage, though, from Shinto, and maybe Julio can clean up, and he does. Sam goes down. Jungle for mid, traded for jungle support.
And the relic situation on the Jade Dragons is looking barren after that fight. I mean, both relics used by Hurry, beads used by Sam for soccer. Shinto got so much damage off in that fight. He was really contributing and letting Julio come in and clean up those fights on the back end a little bit more, really good, or on enemy buffs, and just letting their backline go to work in the late game.
PandaCat the target again as Panatom comes in. Fields of Love drop, but Panatom uses the beads to keep up the pressure, and Shinto over the wall gets the kill credit. That is double relics from Panatom as well, so PandaCat forced a good trade. But I think we're seeing the beginnings of trouble for Panatom. Double shell for the backline, Herwin and PandaCat. He's going to need a way to fight through that later on as Mike goes all in on this fight, drops the ultimate and the Sunder, and Wrong-Yu just dodges all of it. Perfectly played, and that's kind of a gift from Mike. A lot of his cooldowns expended there.
The idea was the better idea, you know, let them overcommit their time a little bit because he only needed a couple more seconds for Hurry and Sam to get there. Yeah.
But now the backup is on the side of Leviathans. I like the idea from FINOK looking for a stun. Can he prove elusive again? He cannot. He goes down to the gank on the right side from the Leviathans, and now it's their pace. Now the Dragons have to respond to the Leviathans' calls as they spread out this map, increase their lead to 3,200 in gold, 4,400 in experience. We asked the Leviathans to show us that they can handle the Dragons, and it's not done yet, but it's been a good start. And Aggro, how do you like this call? They're going for fire.
It's a little bit risky. Scylla has the best secure on the map, and she's got her relics up and is local. This is going to be close.
This is a huge play. Can the Leviathans leverage their lead, or will the Dragons force their way back in? Wrong-Yu on to Sam to force him out. The fire still leashed. And Herwin up in the I'm a Monster. He's getting close for the steal, and there is no way for them to burn it. The Fire Giant doesn't go down, and the Dragons steal it away at the last final minute. But Julio does get the kill onto Sam, but what a play from the Dragons to at least get the objective.
And it's Polar Bear Mike who does it to him. The Crush Lotus Crown is so good on Terra's ultimate that you kind of want that no matter what. Pridwin also so good in that moment. But Jade Dragons might have been caught a little bit too much. Remember, they have the burn, not the secure.
That's right, and the Leviathans do have the objective burning. Herwin on the way with I'm a Monster, and he steals it away. Leviathans had no one there to keep Herwin out, so they take the fight on the back end. But I think Sam ready to re-engage. Panatom goes down first. Shinto grabbed by FINOK and looking to reposition, but he needs a bit of backup, and Herwin has removed Yarkor. No, it's disaster for Leviathans. At the very least, they do get rid of PandaCat, but Shinto explodes underneath the damage from Mike's ultimate, and that is a 3-for-1 plus FG in favor of the Dragons. The game just changed in an instant.
I think they might have been able to end if Yarkor hadn't killed PandaCat, and the deal is they might still be able to end this game effectively. With Sam chasing out Wrong-Yu, likely not. That's going to prevent them from ending the game because they just don't have good tower DPS. But Wrong-Yu should eventually fall on this chase from Sam. I don't know if they're going to be able to even get a Phoenix, though, here, Finch. They just don't have the objective damage to do so.
No, not without PandaCat and not with Wrong-Yu keeping Sam busy. They're just kind of hanging out in the back there. I appreciate the friendliness from Sam, but you want to rejoin the squad ASAP here on this one. But as you said, they've kind of pulled off.
Kind of hard for the Jade Dragons to initiate these fights, unless Mike does that.
Les Mike makes his way instantly. Fine, okay, just walks in from the back and says, I'll take my pick, and it's your core who does end up having to give up the beat. I'm a Monster connects Julio now low, and who's in the thick of it? It's Sam. He retreats on the back of that piercing moonlight, and that means Polar Bear Mike can just pick up where he left off. Spine okay, gets the kill onto your core, and just like that, the House of Cards, the Leviathans built up, have collapsed. Wrong, you collected as well. Still haven't gotten the tier 2 fell, as the Dragons will go back and clean that up, but what a fight. Panatom, that's about as ill-advised as I've ever seen. Yes, you're going to have to retreat from that one. And now the Leviathans can start to clean up. Mike does move in, and Panatom low. They're going to have to retreat and find another way to reset this defense.
And they've got Sustain on the Jade Dragons. It's not the typical Aphrodite or Yemoja, but Terra Cupid will get the job done. They're going to try and end the game here.
Panatom, Shito, and Julio, the only thing keeping Leviathans in this set, 28 minutes in, and the Dragons are on the order side. Titan, fine okay, pulled in, but has beads. Mike low, but the Titan at half HP as well. They've gotten rid of the tanks, so the carries have to commit, but Panatom has a double kill, but I'm a Monster says we're done. Panatom goes down, the Titan as well, and the Dragons find a way to get the 2-0.
Still down.